Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's good.
Hare Krishna to everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Srinuvata Swakataha Krishnaha Punyashravanaha Kirtanaha Hridaye Antasto Hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Shruti Satam नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवतसेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीः. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, Verse 46. Tarunam Ramaniyanganam Arunosta Ikshana Adharam Pranata Ashrayanam Nrimnam Charanayam Karuna Arnavam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Praise. Narad Muni continued, the Lord's form is always youthful. Every limb and every part of his body is properly formed, free from defect. His eyes and lips are pinkish like the rising sun. He is always prepared to give shelter to the surrendered soul, and anyone so fortunate as to look upon him feels all satisfaction. The Lord is always worthy to be the master of the surrendered soul, for he is the ocean of mercy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Everyone has to surrender to someone superior. That is always the nature of our living condition. At the present moment, we are trying to surrender to someone, either to society or to our nation, family, state, or government. The surrendering process already exists, but it is never perfect because the person or institution onto whom we surrender is imperfect, and our surrender, having so many ulterior motives, is also imperfect. As such, in the material world, no one is worthy to accept anyone's surrender, nor does anyone fully surrender to anyone else unless obliged to do so. But here, the surrendering process is voluntary, and the Lord is worthy to accept the surrender. This surrender by the living entity occurs automatically as soon as he sees the beautiful, youthful nature of the Lord. The description given by Narad Muni is not imaginary. The form of the Lord is understood by the Parampara system. Mayavadi philosophers say that we have to imagine the form of the Lord, but here Narad Muni does not say that. Rather, he gives the description of the Lord from authoritative sources. He is himself an authority and he is able to go to Vaikuntha Loka and see the Lord personally. Therefore, his description of the bodily features of the Lord is not imagination. Sometimes we give instructions to our students about the bodily features of the Lord and they paint him. Their paintings are not imaginary. The description is given through disciplic succession, just like that given by Narad Muni, who sees the Lord and describes his bodily features. Therefore, such description should be accepted, and if they are painted, that is not imaginative painting. नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. So I just try to summarize about the verses. Here we are talking about the surrendering process as instructed by Srila Prabhupada. The surrendering by a living entity occurs automatically as soon as he sees the beautiful, youthful nature of the Lord. But how the form of the Lord can be experienced? Narad Muni gives instructions to Dhruva how can one surrender unto Lord. As Prabhupada mentions, Narad Muni's description is not imaginary and is to be considered as an authoritative as it is coming from disciplic succession. So, it should be accepted and put into implementation seriously if one wants to progress in spiritual path. Narad Muni is one of the great spiritual master of Bhakti Yoga. He is pure, elevated soul who glorifies Vishnu through his devotional songs singing the names Hari and Narayana and therein demonstrating Bhakti Yoga. His instructions to Dhruva is not his first act as a spiritual master. He had so many disciples. For example, Vyasadeva, Valmiki, Prahlad, Prachinabhari, and Dhruva too, who all had attained the Supreme Lord on accepting Narad Muni as their spiritual master. So one should, uh, we all should also accept Narad Muni's instruction and proceed in that direction. Here Narad Muni is guiding Dhruva the process of meditation. As described in previous verses, after getting the mind under the control by practicing sitting postures and breath control, which is Ashtanga Yoga, now one has to meditate on the divine form of the Lord. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 12.8, Mai eva mana adatsva, Mai buddhim niveshaya, nivasyasi Maya eva, ata urdhvam na samshayaha. The meaning of this verse is just fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Now the question is how to fix our mind. And here Narad Muni answers for this and explains how one can do this. The one way to do is to think of the form of the Lord. Ideally, yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shama Sundara, who is as beautifully colored as cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose eyes and lips are pinkish like the rising sun, as we read in the above verse today, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. He incarnates in different forms, such as Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he descends also like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master, and is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. This stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by bhakti yoga, as is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Yasya deve parat bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyeti katitha hi artha prakashante mahatmanah. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So it's not only we need to have these focusing the mind on the form of the Lord or hearing, chanting, or transcendental qualities, any other means of the process, but equally we should have complete faith in our spiritual master. However, it is indicated that those who are constantly engaged in meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord and other body parts of the Lord are certainly purified of the material contamination of the senses and are thus able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. The word meditation is very popular in this age amongst the common people, but they do not know the actual meaning of meditation. Meditation means to concentrate the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, not something fictitious, but this is tangible. Dhyanavastita gatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:13.1. Real yoga is to meditate upon the lotus feet of Krishna. This is real yoga. Dhyanavastita. Dhyana means meditation. So sit down in dhyana position and focus. And what is the subject matter of dhyana? What we should focus on? The subject matter of dhyana is the lotus feet of the Krishna or Vishnu. That is dhyana. Then you get Vedic perfection. And Krishna recommends in Bhagavad Gita how first class yoga is is thinking of Krishna and how it can be done. So, meditation means to engage the mind in thinking of the form of the Lord, of the qualities of the Lord, of the activities of the Lord, and of the service of the Lord. Meditation does not mean anything impersonal or void. According to Vedic literature, meditation is always on the form of Vishnu. In the Narsimha Purana, there is a statement about meditation on the form of the Lord. It is said there, meditation focusing on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been accepted as transcendental and beyond the experience of material pain and pleasure. So, by such meditation, even one who is grossly miscreant can be delivered from the sinful reactions of his life. Another quote is in the Vishnu Dharma, there is a statement about meditation on the transcendental quality of the Lord. It is said, persons who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness and who remember the transcendental qualities of the Lord become free from all reactions to sinful activities. And after being so cleansed, they become fit to enter into the kingdom of God. In other words, no one can enter into the kingdom of God without being freed from all sinful reactions. Sinful reactions can be simply avoided by remembering the form, the beautiful form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. Well, in Padma Purana, there is a statement about remembering the activities of the Lord. A person who is always engaged in meditation on the sweet pastimes and wonderful activities of the Lord surely becomes freed from all material contamination. So, if one is fortunate enough to come to the point of bhakti yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all the other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of yoga. So, thus, I conclude my understanding of the meditation on the form of Sri Krishna as instructed by Narada Muni, and look forward to implement this in our daily chanting process. When we really do the chanting of Krishna simultaneously, we can also start um, thinking about the form, the descriptions and qualities we as we read, and keep remembering of those qualities and the form may help us all us to pursue further in our spiritual path. So I end here. Vaishnava Pranamam. Vanchakalpatavaruscha kripa sindhubhaya eva cha patitan